Hello dear students, today's topic of my lecture is direct products. In direct product, we associate two groups to a given group. That is what we put two groups together to get a larger group. That is called direct product. So there can be defined two type of direct product. One is external direct product, other is internal direct product. So first of all, we are going to discuss external direct product. So we are going to define external direct product. So let G1 and G2 be two groups. Then the product G1 cross G2, which is denoted and defined by G1 cross G2 is equal to X comma Y, such that X belongs to the first group G1 and Y belongs to the second group G2. You must have to know about this G1 cross G2. It is not necessary that always G1 cross G2 is equal to G2 cross G1, and G1 cross G2 is different from G1 G2. So here it is an ordered pair in which the first element is taken from group G1 and the second element is taken from group G2. So first of all, we are going to show that this structure forms a group with respect to the operation which is defined as the product of two elements of G1 cross G2. The product of two elements of G1 cross G2 is defined by this. If A1, A2 and B1, B2 are any two elements of this product G1 cross G2, then their product is defined as A1, B1, comma A2, B2. That is what we multiply the first element on both the pair and by each other, and the second element on both the pair by each other. So we get this A1, B1 and A2, B2. Since you can easily see that this A1 and B1 belongs to G1, so and G1 is a group. So this A1, B1 will be in G1, and this A2 and B2 belongs to G2. So their product A2, B2 will be in G2. So this implies we get an element where the first element A1, B1 is from G1 and the second element A2, B2 is from G2. So this product type of thing is a binary operation for this product G1 cross G2. So being binary operation for this set, now we will discuss whether it forms a group or not by the given example. So here A1, A2 belongs to G1, G2, then A1 belongs to G1 and A2 belongs to G1, G2, and B1, B2 belongs to G1 cross G2, then B1 belongs to G1 and B2 belongs to G1. So now we are going to show that with respect to this binary operation, this set of all product of G1 and G2, G1 cross G2 defined by this forms a group. That's we have to prove. And this type of group is called external direct product of the two groups G1 and G2. So to prove group, we have to show all the four axioms, that is closure law, associativity, existence of identity, and existence of inverse. So first we are going to show that this set of G1 cross G2 is closed with respect to the product defined above by this. Under this product, this set is closed. So for this, let us assume that there exist two elements alpha, which is A1, A2, where A1 belongs to G1 and A2 belongs to G2, and beta, which is B1, B2. Similarly, B1 belongs to G1 and B2 belongs to G2. B2 any arbitrary elements of G1 cross G2. Now we have to show that their product alpha, beta will belong to G1 cross G2. So for this, we will multiply alpha and beta with each other by using the definition of multiplication, which is this. So if we take alpha and beta, we will get this. So I have already explained that A1 and B1 are two elements of G1. So A1, B1 will be in G1. A2 and B2 are two elements of G2. So their product A2, B2 will be in G2 because G1 and G2 both are groups. So by closure law, so this set, this element alpha, beta is such that it is an ordered pair in which the first element belongs to G1 and second element belongs to G2. So this implies this alpha beta belongs to G1 cross G2. So G1 cross G2 is closed under the given operation. Now we prove the associativity. For this, we consider one more element. We have already taken two elements. Alpha is A1, A2, beta is B1, B2. So now we take gamma, which is C1, C2, where C1 belongs to G1 and C2 belongs to G2. Now we show this multiplication of products is associative over elements of G. For this, we have to show alpha beta bracket gamma is equal to alpha bracket beta gamma. So for this, let these three elements belongs to G1 cross G2, where A1, B1, C1 is in G1, A2, B2, C2 is in G2. So now we have alpha, beta, gamma. So by using that product rule, this will be equal to this A1, B1, comma A2, B2, and now multiplied by C1, C2. So C1 will be multiplied in the first element and C2 will be multiplied by the second. So we will get A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2. All these elements A1, B1, C1 and A2, B2, A1, B1, C1 are elements of G1 and A2, B2, C2 are elements of G2. And since they are multiplicative group, so multiplication is associative over the elements of A1, over the elements of G1. So we can replace the bracket and we can get A1, B1, C, A1 into bracket B1, C1. Similarly, all these elements are from G2, where multiplication is associative. So we can change the bracket so as to get A2 into B2, C2. Now we again apply the product of elements and we can get this, and this is alpha comma beta gamma. So we have proved that bracket alpha beta gamma is equal to alpha dot beta gamma in bracket. That means what? This type of product which is defined above is associative over the elements of G1 cross G2. So multiplication is associative. Now we have to find the identity element of this product G1 cross G2. Since G1 is a group, we know E1 can be taken as identity of G1 and E2 can be taken as identity of G2. Then we claim that the identity element of G1 cross G2 is given by E equal to E1 comma E2, where E1 is identity of G1 and E2 is identity of G2. So to show this E is an identity element, we take any arbitrary element alpha belonging to G1 cross G2. Already we have defined that alpha is equal to A1 cross A1 comma A2. So now we show if E is the identity, then E alpha is equal to alpha E. So first we consider E alpha and we use the definition of product. We will get E1 A1 into E2 A2. E1 and A1 are elements of G1 and E2 and A2 are elements of G2, where E1 is identity in G1 and E2 is identity in G2. So this implies we have A1 into A2, which is alpha. Similarly, by taking alpha into E, we can easily show that it is equal to alpha. So we completely have shown that E alpha is equal to alpha E. So this shows that if we multiply E either on the left hand side or on the right hand side of an arbitrary element of G1 cross G2, the element remains unchanged. That means what? This is a behavior of identity of a group. So E will be identity of G1 cross G2. So identity of G1 cross G2. Now it is left only one thing, that is we have to show each element of G1 cross G2 possess its inverse in G1 cross G2. So existence of inverse. Since G1 and G2 are groups, so they possess their inverses in G1 and G2 respectively. That is what? If A1 be any arbitrary element of G1, then there exists A1 inverse belonging to G1 such that A1 inverse into A1 equal to E equal to A1 into A1 inverse. Similarly, A2 belongs to G2. So its inverse A2 inverse belongs to G2 such that A2 inverse into A2 is equal to E is equal to A2 into A2 inverse. So for alpha equal to A1 comma A2 belonging to G1 cross G2, there exists alpha inverse which can be defined by A1 inverse into A2 inverse, where A1 inverse is inverse of A1 in G1 and A2 inverse is inverse of A2 in G2. So we claim that this alpha inverse is the inverse of alpha in the direct product J1 cross G1 cross G2. So for this, we have to multiply alpha inverse on the left and right, and we have to prove it will be equal to identity. So now consider alpha inverse into alpha, and this will be equal to A1 inverse comma A2 inverse dot A1 comma A2. By the definition of the product which we have already defined, we can have A1 inverse into A1 into A2 inverse into A2. But we have already assumed that A1 inverse is inverse of A1. So this will be equal to the identity of G1, that is E1, and this will be equal to identity of G2, that is E2. But we have defined E is equal to identity of G1 cross G2, which is equal to E1 comma E2, where E1 is identity of G1 and E2 is identity of G2. So similarly, so this will be equal to E. So this alpha inverse is inverse of alpha. Now we can consider alpha inverse. So we get this. So by this we have alpha inverse is equal to E is equal to alpha inverse alpha. So this implies alpha inverse is inverse of alpha. So each element of G1 cross G2 possesses its inverse in G1 cross G2. Hence G1 cross G2 forms a group under the multiplication defined by equation 1. So we have shown that what we have defined, first of all, what do you mean by direct product, and this external direct product under a given multiplication given by this it forms a group. We have shown that. Now some more properties. The very first theorem is what? If the external direct product of two groups is abelian, if and only if both the group which forms this direct product G1 and G2 is abelian. That is, we have to show what? If G1 cross G2 is abelian, if and only if both G1 and G2 are abelian. So first we assume that G1 and G2 are two abelian groups and prove that G1 cross G2 is abelian. So let G1 cross G1 and G2 be two abelian groups, and let G1 H1 belongs to capital G1 and G2 H2 belongs to capital G2. So G1 H1 we have to show what? G1 H1 is equal to, so G1 H1 is equal to H1 G1 and G2 H2 is equal to H2 G2. Since G1 is abelian and G2 is abelian, let it be these equations be 1 and 2 respectively. So now alpha beta be, let alpha beta be any two arbitrary elements of G1 cross G2, where alpha is defined as G1 comma G2 and beta is defined as H1 comma H2. To show G1 cross G2, that is external direct product, is abelian, we have to show alpha beta is equal to beta alpha. So for that, first we find alpha beta, and by the definition of product of these two elements, this will be equal to G1 H1 comma G2 H2. But we have already taken G1 H1 equal to H1 G1 by equation 1 and G2 H2 is equal to H2 G2 by equation 2. So using those equations, you can write this and break this product. You will get H1 H2 comma into G1 G2. So this is beta alpha. So this implies G1 cross G2 is abelian if G1 and G2 are abelian. Now conversely, we assume that G1 cross G2 be abelian, and we will show that G1 is abelian and also G2 is abelian. For this, let us consider alpha beta be any two elements of G1 cross G2. So since G1 cross G2 forms a group, so their product alpha beta will also be in G1 cross G2. So also it is abelian, so alpha beta is equal to beta alpha. We have to show G1 is abelian and G2 is abelian. So consider alpha beta by G1 comma G2 into H1 comma H2, and this will be equal to H1 H2 comma G1 H1 H2, and this will be equal to H1 H2 comma G1 G2. So on left hand side, by the definition of multiplication, we get G1 H1 comma G2 H2, and on the right hand side we get H1 G1 comma H2G2. But if the two ordered pairs are equal, then their elements will be equal to G1 H1 is equal to H1 G1. So this and G2 H2 is equal to H2 G2. So by 1 we have G1 is abelian, by this we have G2 is abelian. So we have shown that if external direct product is abelian, then if and only if both G1 and G2 are abelian, if and only if. This is the theorem. Now I am going to discuss one question. In this example, we see if the orders of the two groups by which the direct product is formed are known, then what is the order of the external direct product? So this is what, let G1 and G2 be two cyclic groups of order 2 and 3 respectively. That is, order of G1 is 2 and order of G2 is 3. And both groups are cyclic. You know about the cyclic group and order of the group. So find the order of external direct product, order of elements of external direct product. So first of all, we have two things given. First thing is both the groups G1 and G2 are cyclic. That means what? We know a group is cyclic if each element of the group can be expressed as some integral power of an element of the group. That integral power, that element is called the generator of the group. Here, given that order of G1 is 2, that means what? The number of element in G1 are 2 and order of G2 is 3. That is, the element in G2 are 3. So now let G1 be generated by X, that is X be generator of G1, that is all the elements of G1 can be expressed as some integral power of X, and Y G2 is generated by Y. So every element of G2 can be expressed in powers of integral powers of Y. Since order of G1 is 2, so there will be only two elements. One must be identity element. As you know, the minimum number of element required to form a group is 1, and that element must be the identity element. The first element is E1 of G1 and comma X. Now you can write it as X comma X square, where X square is equal to E1. E1 is identity of G1. Similarly, the second group G2, since it has order 3, so it can be written as E2Y and Y square, since it is generated by Y. So this group can be written as Y comma Y square comma Y cube. Y cube is equal to identity. There's a very important theorem which says that if a group is of order finite, then each element will have of finite order. So there is one element which is whose order is equal to the order of the group. E2 is identity element. Now we consider how many elements are there in G1 cross G2. Since this G1 has X comma X square and G2 has Y, Y square, Y cube. So it has element. First we take product of elements of G2 with the first element X. So we get X comma XY, X comma Y. First of all, XY comma XY square, XY cube, X square Y, X square Y square, X cube Y cube. And the identity element of G1 cross G2 is E1 comma E2, that is X square comma Y cube. So identity element will be X square comma Y cube. And we know that the order of identity element is always 1. So we have order of X square Y cube is equal to 1. Now we have to find order of the remaining elements of this group G1 cross G2. So first we are going to find the order of XY cube. So for order, we multiply XY cube by itself, and we see that by multiplying, this will be equal to X square comma Y cube whole square. So you can say that this X square is equal to E1 and Y cube is equal to E2. So this will be equal to E1 comma E2. So this is E1 comma E2, this is equal to E. So that is what the order of xy cube is 2. So we have find order of 2 elements. Now the third element of the group is what? X square y square. So now we are going to find the order of x square y square. We multiply x square y square by x square y square. We will get x की power 4 comma y to the power 4. And x to the power 4 can be written as x square to whole square. X square is even, so it is even square. And y to the power 4 can be written as y cube comma e1. So y cube is e2. So this is e1 comma e2y. This is e1 comma y. This is the value of x square y square to whole square. So now we don't get identity. So one more time we operate over this product x square y square. So this x square y square to the whole square is even y by this, and we multiply it by x square y square. So once again we get even x square comma y into y cube. Even x square is even into e1 comma e2. This is e1 comma e2 and this is e. So we have what? The order of x square y cube is 3. Now we find the order of x square y. So we multiply x square y by x square y. We get x to the power 4 y square. X to the power 4 is even square, that is even comma y square. So now we will multiply x square y to the power 2 by x square y. So what we get? This is even y square into x square y. This is even into x square into y cube. This is even comma x square comma y cube, and this is even e2 barabar e. So order of x square y is 3. Now we find order of xy square. So we multiply xy square over xy square. So we will get x dot x into y, x square into y to the power 4, and it can be written as e1 comma e2y. So this implies when we multiply repeatedly or the product to xy square, we get order of xy square is equal to 6. Order of xy square is equal to 6, and also order of xy is equal to 6. So that's we have. So that is order of each element can be found, and we see that order is always less than the equal to the order of the group. And here the order of the group is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So order of group is 6. So we have seen that every element has order less than equal to 6. Now we are going to discuss one more theorem which is very important, which says that if G1 and G2 be two groups under multiplication and E1, E2 be their identity elements of G1 and G2 respectively, then the complexes G1 cross E2, look at this. First we take the group G1, and with it we take identity of G2, and E1 cross G2, that is identity of G1 cross G2. Of G1 cross G2 are normal subgroups of G1 cross G2, and such that G1 cross G2 is equivalent to G1 and E1 cross G2 is equivalent to G2, is equivalent. So here we have to show that, first of all we have to show that G1 cross E2 is a normal subgroup and E1 cross G2 is a normal subgroup, and then we have to show G1 cross E2 is isomorphic to G1 and E1 cross G2 is isomorphic to G2. So first what will we show? We show that G1 cross E2 is a normal subgroup of G1 cross G2. For this, we take the definition of outer product of direct product. So G1 cross E2 will be x comma E2, where x belongs to G1 and E2 belongs to G2. Here G1 comma E2 is a non-empty set. At least E1 comma E2 belongs to G1 cross G2. So G1 cross E2 is not phi. So let us take two elements of G1 cross E2 as E1 E2 and B1 E2, where A and B are from G1. So now we take element, this can be written as alpha, this can be written as beta. So this is what we are going to show. It is a normal subgroup. So for that we take alpha beta inverse. So we take A1 E2 into B1 E2 whole inverse, and this is what A1 E2, and we know by the definition of inverse of external direct product, this will be equal to B1 inverse comma E2 inverse. So now we multiply to get A1 B1 inverse comma E2 E2 inverse. So now A1 B1 inverse comma E2 E2 inverse is E2. So what will we get? A1 B1 inverse comma E2. This is the value of this AB inverse. And we can easily see that it belongs to the group. It belongs to the group. So now I have shown that if alpha beta belongs to that group, then alpha beta inverse belongs to that group. That is indication that this structure is a subgroup. So we have shown that A1 B1 belongs to G1, then A1 B1 inverse belongs to G1. So this implies, similarly we can show for G1 cross E2. So G1 cross E2 is a subgroup of G1 cross G2. Similarly, we can show G1 cross E2 is, now we have to show this is a normal subgroup. So for normal subgroup, you know that we take X an element in G1 cross G2, and where X belongs to G1 and X belongs to G2, and an element X inverse type of element, if we can show that in G, then that group is a normal subgroup. So we take X1 X2 as element of G1 cross G2, where X1 belongs to G1 and X2 belongs to G2. Let us consider one element of G1 cross E2 be taken as A1 comma E2. So X1 X2 into A1 E2 into X1 X2 inverse. So this will be equal to X1 inverse X2 inverse. Now we first multiply these two, and then we have taken this, and this will be equal to this, and this element will be, this whole element will be G1 cross E2. So this implies G1 cross E2 element, in G1 cross G2 elements X, A, X inverse are in the group. So it is a normal subgroup. So now the second thing what we have to prove, that this G1 cross G2 is isomorphic to G1, and this E1 cross G2 is isomorphic to G2. To show the isomorphism between G1 cross E2 and G1, first we defined a mapping between these two. So let phi be a mapping such that which is from G1 cross E2 to G1. So this implies, since the element of G1 cross E2 are of the type A1 comma E2, so this implies under this mapping phi A1 comma E2, we get A1, where A1 is an element of G1 and E2 is identity of G2. Now we have to show that this phi is an isomorphism. So for this we have to show it is 1, 1, on 2 and composition preserving. So phi is 1, 1. So for that, let A1 E2 and B1 E2 be any two arbitrary elements of G1 cross E2, and let their images will be same. That is phi of A1 E2 is equal to phi of B1 E2. So this implies it is equal to A1 and this is equal to B1. So we can have A1 comma E2 is equal to B1 comma E2. So phi is 1, 1. Now we show phi is on 2. Let A belongs to G1 be arbitrary. So this implies there exists A1 comma E2 belonging to G1 cross E2 such that phi of A1 comma E2 is equal to A1. That is, phi is has no phi. This implies phi is onto. Now we have shown phi is 1, 1 and phi is onto. So it is left to show phi preserves composition. So let A1 E2 and B1 E2 be any two arbitrary elements of G1 cross E2, where A1 B1 belongs to G1 and E2 be identity of E2. E2 be identity of G2. So now consider phi of these two elements A1 comma E2 and B1 comma E2. So by definition of phi, this will be equal to phi A1 B1 comma E2. So this implies, under the definition of phi, this will be equal to A1 B1. Now it can be written as phi A1 comma E2 into phi B1 comma E2. So this implies phi preserves composition. So this implies phi is an isomorphism mapping. So that implies G1 cross E2 is isomorphic to G1. Similarly, we can show the result for G2, and we will show that E1 cross G2 is a normal subgroup, and it is equal to E1 cross G2 is equal to So we have shown that this is an isomorphism mapping. So there must be an isomorphism between the two. So that's all about. I have given you the explanation of external direct product. So I hope you will understand it. So thank you.